Hi, welcome to Unglamorous Truths with the Downtown Girls. This is a podcast where we talk about making it come hell or high water. I'm Mebit.
I'm Crystal.
I'm Chandra.
Kickoff question. I want to ask, what is like your go-to hype song? Like when you're about to go out, put on makeup, and you gotta get that energy going.
Rough Riders Anthem.
Oh my God! Okay,
Is that yours?
we're in the same family. We're in the
Okay.
same family.
Yeah, that when you just hear that stop, you just know what fucking time it is. Yeah, that's the one.
Mine is Maniac by Eve.
Oh,
Dun,
very
dun,
good.
dun,
Yep.
dun,
It's the Swiss beat. It's the urgency and it's Swiss.
On my East Coast.
Yeah, all the kids. Yes.
Let's go, 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 let's go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's the vibe.
Demonetize me for singing.
Wow.
Oh, we should have a
good.
whole party. We should have a moment.
Yes.
Y'all remember when we drove around downtown LA for that weird Shakespeare show and we ended up playing all of Eve, all the Rough Riders?
Yes.
And what would you do if your son was at home? And y'all know how I feel about that song.
Really?
What would you do if your son was at home?
I sing that song to my
Crying
children.
alone on the
they don't
bedroom
get it yet.
floor. Those are some really good throwbacks. My current jam is not a throwback. It is a throwback, but it's like a decade back, not further. But anyway, my song, in the last few years, have been put on to the Collard Grove album, which is a collab between 2 Chainz and Wayne. And it's literally the most like amped up fucking turn up album of all time. Like literally 2 Chainz and Wayne in a room, probably a little bit of
very
Lane.
good together.
Their synergy is insane. It's bananas. And Wayne just loses his mind in the booth every song. Like there's a song called Bounce.
Yeah.
And he's just like bounce, bounce. And then at some point he literally sounds like a Flintstone. Like
I'm
Wayne,
weak.
he enters another dimension and he's like, yabba dabba dee. And I was like, oh, the Flintstone song is my favorite song.
Okay.
I play that every time. I don't play that when I'm getting ready. It's the first song I put in the car when it's like on the road to go somewhere.
Yes.
I mean, there was a time when you would hear that lighter flick and the blunt is lit. You would know. Wow, we've lived through such good times.
Yes, our era was the era, says everybody.
I know, right?
But it really was.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
It really was.
Let's go.
All right, so this episode is about the comparison game and distractions when you're trying to stay in your own lane. So I just really want to kick it off by talking about FOMO.
Mevit was always the queen of FOMO. She used to have some FOMO.
Stay with it.
FOMO, the thing that had me in a chokehold in my 20s, for sure. It really had me in the tightest of grips. Like, especially in New York, where there was a party every night. I feel like when we were in college and like slowly transitioning out of college, we were partying every night. Like,
Absolutely.
There was
I still think about the schedule. You know, I think it was like Johnny Utah's on Monday, then Marquee Tuesday,
Pink Elephant,
Wednesday,
Avenue,
M2 Thursday, most important.
Definitely.
Thursday.
Greenhouse,
Friday.
Yeah,
or
yes,
something.
yes.
Like there was something
A
for
schedule.
every night.
You could do a
Like,
little Santos on Friday if you was feeling.
Yeah.
yes,
No.
it was Santos.
Yeah.
If you was
Santos.
trying to do your little LES thing.
Yeah.
Wait, is it LES?
Chinatown.
Yeah, it is. Chinatown. That was an era where I feel like I primarily shopped for nighttime. I saw most people in nighttime. Like, I literally coined them like my nighttime friends. Because I deadass did not see these people in the daytime. Like, I don't know what y'all do for a living. Like, yeah, y'all just seeing kids.
And it was
Right.
weird. Like if you did see them like in the daytime walking around Soho or something, it's like we're not speaking.
Right.
Right.
Like-
But at night, it's, hey, girl! You're like, oh my God.
Besties.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, in the 20s, FOMO has never really been a big thing for me. I think because even as a child, I could play by myself and, you know, entertain myself really well. It's worse for me now, you know, if anything, on a social level, you know, because I'll like see people traveling, you know, as I sit at home with my children, who I love, but, you know, everybody, I'm in Kenya partying and I'm, you know, sitting here wiping ass and I'm like, man, fuck this person, you know, so now, like I have it more, but in the 20s, I always, that was so beautiful. Y'all always felt like, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like, if I'm not there, I get the next one.
Yeah. I was not a FOMO queen. I actually feel like college was like an experiment in going out way more than that's not true. high school I was definitely outside, but like clubbing as a culture, like really became such an era, right? And it was like it was definitely a moment, and I'm so glad that we had that moment.
Yeah.
Because you know, we did it. And I will say that, Amebet, I feel like you're, you know, I think we're all on the same page here. Like, you're the true extrovert. Like, we are introvert extroverts.
You think she's a true extrovert?
Yeah, she is. No, but she likes to
masking.
be outside. But what I'm saying is, she gets energy from being outside. Like, for me, I didn't always get energy from being outside. Like, for me, every time you were like, let's go somewhere else, I'd be like, okay, like, woof, like gather strength, like we're gonna do this. And I always loved it. I always had the best time, but like to start the engine to do it was not my natural instinct. Like, it was like, okay, just go with it. It's out of your comfort zone. But we're here and now we're living.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I'm definitely an introvert, but I get energy from night.
Yes.
Like night activities. Yeah. Rev me. Like,
Totally.
And the longer I stay up, the longer I'm staying up. You know, if I hit 2, bitch, you know I'm going to 5.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's real.
I think I have always actually been an introverted extrovert.
I think so.
But I really leaned into the extrovert.
You did.
And I didn't even know that the introvert existed. So I was really conflicted when I would feel that burnout from being out all the time. And I just thought that I needed to push through it. Like, I remember going to Coachella one year. And, you know, this is back to back. Coachella's like war. Like, it is war with the sun, like war with your body. And then you add drugs on top of that. It's chaos.
Yeah.
And so, like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. By Sunday, I was a skell of a person. Like, I was like, what is this? I immediately expressed myself home. I went to the airport. And I went to the fucking airport.
In Palm Springs?
Yes, I did. And I said, I need to go to LA right now. Because I had carpooled with someone. They wanted to stay. And I was like, I need to get home. Like, I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired.
Yeah.
I was on that plane crying. Crying. Nothing bad happened. I just was so drained. I had pushed myself
depleted
so hard. And I was just like, is there something wrong with me? Like, am I just a crazy person? But like, over time realized I was like, no, I just sometimes just need to be alone.
Yes.
And especially being out for 4 days doing activity after activity.
Yes.
I need now a week of absolute fucking silence.
Yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think we all agree or can agree on
and
that.
And it's super weird. Like, so sometimes I think about just starting a list of things that piss me off because, you know, I'm a curmudgeon. But so recently I feel like there's this trend of like a lot of people saying they're introverts. And I'm like, you are not an introvert. Like, if you don't sit in your car before you go into a place and have to calm yourself down when you think about having to talk to people or get into a room and immediately look for the only person you know and cling to them like your life depends on it, I said, you don't know the pain of being a goddamn introvert. Like, stop it. I know it sounds cool. Oh, like everybody wants to be a nerd now, but you're not. Okay? You don't know that anxiety. You don't know that hand sweat. My real ones do know. But anywho, that is real introvert when you need to fully recover from social life.
Yeah, because it is a balance for me because I also do like going out and then turning it on and like working a room. Like that is like, that it gives me the same kind of sensation, I guess, as like flirting gives people of like, you know, let me see if I still got it. Can I make this person like me? Not just in a romantic way. Like, can I do this?
That's the Leo in you, Amebet.
It's the what?
It's the Leo you don't want to admit that you are.
I need to, you know, I don't know my birth chart because my mother doesn't know what time I was born, and she told me to call the hospital.
Yeah, there is fire.
There's fire in there.
It's spectrumy because like I definitely spent most of my life masking as an extrovert, and I did always like take my time to recover. And my mom, she was the one who really noticed because I loved going to sleepovers and stuff, and like always had like, you know, a tight group of friends and spent a lot of time with them. But when I would come home, I would just sleep, sleep. Like I remember when I went in college, when I went to Shayna's in Houston for a spring break, my best friend Shayna, and her mom was concerned about me because the first 2 days I just slept. And she was like, is she okay? Is she okay? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. I gotta recover.
What was it though?
From what was it that I need to recover from?
life.
School is college is non-stop socializing.
Okay.
You're always talking to people. You're in classes with people. And it's the thing of you're always meeting like new people. You're restarting. And new people takes a lot more energy than old people. See, y'all don't take as much energy. Because you know me, I know you, we don't have to go over new shit. But new people, we gotta start from the foundations. And that takes a lot from you.
You know what? In terms of that conversation around masking, right? Because I feel like it does take you a little while to learn what your true state is. Like, you know, and when you're in your teens, like, sometimes you don't know yet. Like, and you're just, like, burnt out for no reason. Or you feel like, I don't like this, but I'm still doing it. You're just pushing through so many things energetically. And I know for me, like, you know, I was raised a fucking activist. So I had no problem with, like, public speaking and like I can get up in front of a fucking auditorium and talk and not be nervous about that. Right. But then I would be more nervous about just basic social engagement, like sitting on a couch with someone and being like, oh, I have to talk to you, just small talk. And so it's different for everybody. But then the funny thing is that that's just a mask because now I can do it. It's in my blood to get up and speak, but like I don't prefer it. Like I no longer want to do that. Like I just want to hang out with y'all and people again that I don't have to explain myself to, and I would do that hands down.
It dawned on me like when you talked about comparison in the beginning, like really I also compared myself to extroverts a lot and was so jealous of them. I'm like, oh. What is it like to go into a room and be excited to talk to everybody and get to meet all these new people? And then when you get a bunch of attention, you're like, yes. I'll be in the middle of that circle dancing. I'm not a great dancer. I don't give a fuck. I'm just having fun. I just like the attention. Like, I compared myself so much. And even in terms of this work, I was like, oh, I'm probably always going to be behind because I'm awkward, and I'm not going to be able to go and like win the room, which is not true necessarily, but it is something that like bothered me for a long time. Like,
because a lot of the work in this industry is networking, meeting people, and if anything, like I felt like I was my own like manager, like I was my own Joe Jackson.
Not Joe Jackson.
I really was.
Beat your ass.
She probably beats her ass.
Beats her own ass. Get out there. Talk.
Yeah, no, seriously. And like, if I didn't, I would like tell myself that was a missed opportunity, and this is the reason why this isn't happening.
Oof, y'all. I
That's
still
stressful.
I still be doing that sometimes. Ugh. You just read me for Phil. That's still be.
We both have our own inner Joe Jackson. but for me, it's like I'm also not the person that's like the shameless. I'm just gonna come and speak to you. It's like it has to be organic. Like it I must make a connection. I'm not that delusional where I could just come to you and make a request and it's just all about me. Because there has to be a middle ground of like there's something here that I can relate to, and you will naturally want to invite me into your space.
Yeah.
And I think what's so important about that on the topic of networking is like, I think we like found a really good rhythm with that in terms of like naturally always being more dropped in and not leading with what we do or what we want. I feel like every time, I think that's why people loved us when we pitched and like went into rooms. We always just organically had like a being state as opposed to a doing state. So it was always very just like a, hey, this is where I'm at today. This is how I'm feeling. How you doing? Like, and a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people have no idea how to fucking network, and they're going out and they're like, so I went here and then I went to this college and then like I worked on this room and like, do you have opportunities?
Yeah, that's
people
good.
are weird, bro.
Yeah. Oh.
Like,
yeah, I know. Not for me, but now, people have been coming up to me saying some old weirdo stuff, just making just such outlandish requests.
Yep.
Like that's really, really.
Yeah. I mean,
can I get on South Side? What, ma'am? As you know, real nut jobs. Out here.
I don't think I told you at my birthday when I was at the screening for that short I did, this lady like came, she was like bum rushed through the people. She was like, she's like, you were on South Side? And I was like, oh yeah, like I've done a couple of episodes. And she was like, do you write too? And I was like, oh no, I just, I was just acting on it. And her face fell so fucking flat. And she was like, oh, you just acted on it?
Yeah, that's wild.
And didn't she turn to her friend?
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, she just actually doesn't write. Like, as if like she was looking for a way that she could get put on the show. And I'm like, bitch.
Yeah.
And bitch, you never know who you talking to. Okay. Because that's my best friend. You just disrespected. So if I ever saw your ass somewhere, you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Okay. My film screening, you were coming. Are you fucking joking, bitch? Like, I couldn't believe, I was like, I literally gasped. Like, this lady really just played me on my face. Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Like, there's a way to shoot your shot, and there's a way to shoot it down, burn yourself.
Absolutely.
You know? But with networking, I am always, like, when it's us together, that is always when I'm most successful.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just, because I think, because I have the comfort spot. So it's like, even if I go off and talk to somebody on my own, like I have a home base, you know, like when you used to be in the club and y'all had the spot where everybody put the purses down and dance around them. Like that's what we are together. It's the purse spot. So it's like, I can go over here and do this. And then I'm going to come back. Yeah. You know, when it's on my own, like I've been doing this thing where before I go somewhere, I predetermine how many strangers I have to speak to. And I know it sounds crazy, but if I don't do it, I won't, because I'm like, heavy introvert. So I'll be like, today you have to go up and speak to 5 people you don't know.
Oh, you task yourself.
I task myself.
Okay. Do you also calculate like or estimate how many people are going to be there? And you're like, okay, I have around 10 people that I know I don't know that are going to be there that I'm going to have to engage with. So let me prep my energy to engage with that you know all those people.
No, because I generally just do it for if it's going to be a big event. Like I'm better in smaller situations, you know, like, but if it's like, you know, 100 people, then I'll have to push myself.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's different eras in life. Like, cause I feel like when I first came to LA, that's when I found my outside season. Like more than even in our 20s.
Sure did.
Like I was outside. It's when I was dating. I was outside 5 nights a week. Where are we going? What are we doing with my roster? Like, where are we going? What are we doing?
I mean, you kind of have to when you're single.
You know? It's like you got to be outside. You got to push yourself outside. And I loved it, though. I loved it during that season. And I also was the most social. Like, I would love to go to parties to get energy. Like, absolutely.
Yeah. That was hella weird for me because in New York, it was... Yeah, you was outside a little bit, but it was primarily a Mebin and I outside.
Right.
And then to come here and now Crystal's knowing what night to be at what place. I'm like,
giving recommendations.
Yeah. I'm like, who is this girl?
It's Eras.
Who is this girl?
It's Eras for everything.
It was late. You should have been out with us.
Madly. I mean, that does create a distraction.
Yeah.
Being out and always saying yes. For me, always saying yes to something, and it's like, you know, you get an audition Friday night, and now you got to spend your weekend doing an audition. But like, I've stacked up my weekend with social activities, and now I'm having to like reconcile the two. Like, how do I get both done?
Right, and definitely in my youth, I prioritized the social. Like that was kind of one of the main reasons I wanted to move from New York to LA, because I just felt like I needed to start over because I felt like I was always going to be a waitress who kind of wanted to act. Yeah, and was mostly, you know what I'm saying, just going out having fun, unless I just did a full reset and like refocus myself in a clean environment.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What was that for you?
I have to live my life. Like, I'm not going to be young forever.
Right.
So, like, just as much as, like, I deserve to book this role,
right,
I also deserve to go out and get drunk. Like, I deserve this fun.
In LA or in New York?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think LA means different things to everybody. Because for me, it was like New York, I couldn't escape the East Coast of it all, which is like work ethic. Like I was in the trenches of work ethic. Like I couldn't have as much fun in New York. I didn't come to New York being like, I'm going to party all day. I just happened to because y'all are my friends.
Survival was a part of that?
Survival mode. Yes.
Yeah. Survival is a great distraction.
Absolutely. I was in deep survival mode. So I was just like, nothing was fun. I was just like, just focus and make it and survive. Like, so LA to me was the opportunity to finally be like, it was just like an exhale. Like it was like, oh, I can do both. I can have fun and I can be successful and I can be outside. Like,
so profoundly different.
So different. Everyone's journey is different.
Because LA, the clock started to tick for me in a way that I hadn't felt in New York. Like towards the end of the New York, I started to feel, because I just didn't see a way out of the restaurant, and that terrified me because I was like, man, I done sacrificed so much already in my youth. Like I just want to at least get somewhere. Like I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I could not see the way out because the distractions were just like, it was too much. It was everything. And so, when I got here, I started to feel the, yes, for sure.
Right.
I was like, are we going to do this or we not going to do it? Because we got to shit or get off the pot. Because if you're not going to do it, we're going to go live somewhere cheaper. Let's go down south.
And what did that look like for you? The shift.
The shift, prioritizing differently, like, even though for a while it was still angsty, but being honest about, like, I can't go to this because I have to film this audition. And I will say it was a transition. It did not happen immediately when I was in LA, but also I saw other people doing it. Like a good friend of ours who is a tremendous actor who you all will see everywhere if you haven't already, Devere Rogers. I remember one time we were eating, and then he was like, I have to go because I have to film a commercial audition that's due tomorrow. And I was like, it's due tomorrow. Like, you can just do it tomorrow. Like, we're eating. Like, we're going to go have drinks now. And he was just, so, no, I got to go do it tonight. And I was like, and this is the point where, comparison was a little useful because I was like, shit.
Yes.
He's taking it seriously.
Yes.
Like, this is why he works so much and why you don't, Chandra. Because you're not taking it seriously. You're not acting like it's your job. You're acting like serving is your job.
Ooh.
And that's not what you're here to do. You're prioritizing that.
You better preach, bitch.
I had to get it to myself.
Better preach.
Joe Jackson.
Okay. But you know who that was for me, where in comparison was a blessing? Moving to LA and living with Siobhan, Michelle, y'all, she just like Devere. Yeah. She don't play. Like, that comes first. Like, social activity, what is that? Like, she literally was be like, oh, I have an audition in 3 days. I need to start prepping now. And she would prep every day for hours. Yeah. Like, it was her job. It was the main focus of her, center of her time. And I was like, oh, Crystal, you need to, like, assess how you do this shit. Like, because this bitch is booking.
Yeah.
And, you're a talented ass hoe. We love you.
Yeah.
But it was important.
And I think that I definitely didn't sacrifice in the party space. I also did not sacrifice in the workspace. Like, I feel like I was able to do both. Like, I still did really great tapes. Like, I don't think I ever slacked on an audition. But where I did sacrifice was in my peace and in my boundaries. I was living in an inner hell. And I just normalized it of like, this is what it takes to make it, this chaos, until I discovered the power of no, of really sitting with a social invite and being like, do I really want to go to this? Not just because someone sent it to me.
Right.
Before it was like, you asked me to go, of course I'm going to go. Now it's, what value am I going to get out of this? Like, is there someone there that, like, I'm going to be overjoyed to see and connect with? Is there a moment that's going to enrich me? Like, what am I getting out of this?
Quality time.
Because sleep has really come up the chain of priorities and interests. It's like, I can very well be in my bed. Like,
absolutely.
Do I need to be here?
Yeah.
You know what's on my agenda for this weekend? Hanging out with y'all tomorrow. Sleeping.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm painting my office. And then I have an audition. That's the weekend.
Oh my God, same. Yeah. I've been up at 5:45 every day this week.
Yeah.
It's been set here, set here, set here. So, yes, I am very comfortable now. Thank God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Growth. Yeah.
Learned it the long way, the hard way. But the no, like, and not because if I did have to say no, it came with a lengthy explanation.
Right.
Oh my God, I can't because yum 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 yum. Now it's no, thank you.
Yep. And in terms of like peace and boundaries, like you were saying, like, because I've always kind of prioritized like trying to have some balance, or maybe not always, but for the past like 5, 6, 7, 10 years, I've had to do that. But one area where I have set strong boundaries with myself, funny enough, is strictly about comparison. So sometimes, like, I cannot play with Instagram because if I start looking at somebody's stuff too much and will be so happy for them, right? So genuinely happy that this person is exploding and they're having like the greatest moment and they're just like working nonstop. But you know, I'll be genuinely happy for them, but also be like, well, when me?
Yes.
Like, what I'm not doing right?
And I think that's
What I'm
normal.
not doing right? I think so too, but I think everything in moderation, right? So sometimes I notice that I could get so caught up in that, like, well, what am I not doing? What am I not doing? And then I beat myself so bad that then I can't really do anything. Like I beat myself into a coma damn near. And I'm like, okay, well, this is not working. This is not helpful. So if you cannot properly engage, okay, and have a moment where you're happy from somebody and just move on without just like heavily overdoing the comparison meter, then you have to take a time out. You don't get to be on social media for a little bit. You can take a month off.
Yeah. I relate. And I think I took it to the point of like toxic positivity of like, you have to be this person's cheerleader. You have, like, I am genuinely happy for everyone's success that I see on my timeline. Like, there is that foundation of genuine.
Yes.
Like, yes. You deserve.
Yes.
But then when the like, but why not me? Or when it's in my turn seeps in, the toxic positivity will check in. It's like, well, now you need to like overload yourself on this person until those feelings disappear because you're a hater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I'm having this internal battle. Like, no, I'm not a hater. Like, I generally
You just have human feelings.
Yeah, but like, I would make myself feel so bad for having a very human reaction, and I have learned how to just mute certain things and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Like, if it makes, and it's not about like whatever you're doing. It's about how it makes me feel.
So
I prioritize
that.
how I feel over anything, and I don't judge it anymore. Because I used to judge myself for feeling that ting of like, why not me? And then going down that rabbit hole of I'm a bad person.
Yep.
I can't celebrate someone else. But now it's like, I don't judge that shit anymore. It's like, if I feel something, mute.
That's how I feel.
Shit,
I don't need to see it.
I'm about to have to fucking mute Beyonce, Rihanna,
I'm weak.
Nicki Minaj. I'm gonna have to mute all of them because
You
I
follow
can't
them?
deal.
Just unfollow them.
No, because like as a mom, like they're stressing me a little bit. I'm like, how are they finding the time? You know how people always say, "Oh, Beyonce has the same 24 hours as you," and I'm like, I don't think she does. But I don't know. I don't know her life. I don't know her life, but I don't know. I don't. You know, so it's like they're just. They doing it on both ends, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to take a break from y'all because you're stressing me out too much. Because you're making me feel like, why am I not super momming, super writing, super acting, super producing? Like, you know, you're stressing me, ma'ams.
But on that thing of like staying in your own lane, like, it's really important to put the blinders on and not look left and right. And I mean, not be like so blindsided that you don't know what's going on, because then you don't even know where you are. Like, you think you really going somewhere, you just walking in place.
You do need that. You think you humping and you like, be like, oh.
You know what? It's interesting because in terms of staying in your own lane, I have a funny story about that. Like, first of all, one of my favorite people, Joyce Abney, my grandma, that's her mantra. And she shouts it every day, at least once a day. She'll say, stay in your lane. She'll say, stay in your lane. And usually to someone that she thinks is disrespecting her. She'll say,
I can hear it.
Stay in your lane.
Period.
She just tells them real quick, cleans them up. But so that is helpful to me. It's a voice I love to hear. But in terms of also about staying in your own lane and not comparing, there's also the journey of finding what your lane is itself, because sometimes comparison can happen when I'll speak for myself, when I'm feeling unclear about what my lane is.
Yes.
And I remember when I was in Lisbon, it was my birthday. Y'all were there. And I went down to the bakery with Kevin, my ex, who was a real one. And he said a profound thing to me. We were drinking coffee. We were having a little quality time alone before we went back up to y'all. And he was like, because at the time I was auditioning. I mean, I was in Germany. I low-key went to Germany to reset because it was just like New York was so exhausting. The auditions. I was a musical theater auditioner, which, if anyone knows, is the craziest audition cycle ever. Like, you literally have to go to dance calls, singing calls, like all of it times 3 constantly. I was like driving myself crazy, running around the streets for these auditions. And he literally looked at me in Lisbon and he was like, have you ever thought that maybe you could like streamline what you want to do? Like maybe do less? He was like, okay. Yeah, he was like, out of all these things that you're doing, what is the thing that brings you like the most passion and the most joy? He was like, maybe it's time to like pick your lane and stay in it. And he said that to me and I was like, oh, and I received that. He said it so gently and so beautifully, but he essentially was just being like, stop being scatterbrained and just focus and like start to enjoy a few things really well.
Well, he should have brought his ass upstairs and said that to the whole house.
And that was when I realized that I needed to build my own lane. Like, if we have highways, where am I going?
Yeah.
So I'm not directionless. So I'm not just saying yes to every audition.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so thank you, Kevin.
That also just reminds me of advice that I got from Rahel. I mean, it's in regards to dating, but now I realize that, like, I think I applied it to every aspect of my life. She said that I feel like there are many things fighting for the top spot, like many things fighting for priority, and you can't have it all. So what's it going to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 must-haves?
Yep.
Absolutely.
And this was obviously in dating. But I'm like, okay, well, let me take a little bit of that magical advice and apply it to my career, because we're doing so many different things. We're writing, we're acting, we're producing, and it's like there are many things fighting for priority. It's like, what do you want the most? And you have to put your energy there. And like I felt like for a long time in my career, I resented that question when agents and managers would ask, like, what's priority? And I'm like, you're asking me to choose between my kids, like which one I like the most. I like them both and I want to do both. And it didn't click until the last year or so. That was like, energetically, it's scattered.
Yeah.
And so you're only going to piecemeal in each direction because that's what you're giving.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know if it's the moon, the age, alignment, the times, but recently I feel like I have like gotten very, very clear on that. And I think for a while I didn't feel like scattered so much. It was mostly I really couldn't tell. Like I was enjoying different things. Like and I was like, well, nothing
You
really
were in
feels.
discovery.
Yeah, I was like, nothing is like strongly, in terms of work wise, was like strongly defeating the other. I'm like, I like both. And like, recently I got very clear. I'm like, okay, this.
Yes.
This.
And each lane has that, because I thought it was one or nothing. Like you pick acting and everything else can go to hell, or you pick writing and everything else gets put on the back burner. And I'm like, no, it was about being really intentional about what I want my acting career to look like.
Yep.
And saying no to things. Like every audition I was like, I'll do it. And it's like, now I'm in a place where I'm like, I'll pass. Thank you. That doesn't, that's not clear. I don't see it for myself. And I can't put my energy there because I have an allotted amount of energy that I can put in each space.
Absolutely.
And we can't deplete.
Yeah.
And even on the writing side, it helped me get really clear there of like what my voice is, what lane I'm in, and how to amplify that. Like I'm going full throttle.
Yeah.
Pedal to the fucking metal.
Yep.
Oof. I'm excited for us
Absolutely.
when this strike is over. I'm excited.
Because it's like no one is telling this story. This is mine.
Yeah.
I got this lane on lock.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not in like, well, I can be on the 405 drifting.
Yeah. Like there's this line that Chance says in Ultralight Beam that like I used to play this song before we pitched like every time. And there was the part where he says, "This is my part, nobody else speak." That I would just play that over and over and over, and I would just had to have that in my body. But like now finally it like really is in my body. Like
Because that's the energy that now you are vibrating there, and this is the frequency that everyone else is going to capture.
Absolutely.
That's the wavelength that they're riding.
Yeah.
But if you're just switching through dials, like, people just on the side, like, I don't know where you're going with this, and I'm gonna wait. And now we're waiting. It was years of just fucking waiting for my turn, waiting for my turn. No, you gotta claim that spot, babe. You gotta take that shit, right? And with that, we can transition over to Bootleg Fabulous, a segment where we give little tips and tricks on how to make it on a shoestring budget. And I don't even have a topic, so we're gonna freestyle this.
Networking. It just hit
great.
me earlier. Like, what are tips to since I feel like we're pretty decent at it and have learned, like, what are tips to network well? Like, I mean, and especially when you're first starting out.
Okay. So my tip for networking is do research on the person and find a commonality.
Yes.
Did you guys go to the same school? Did you grow up in the same city? Do you like something the same? And you can kick it off with that. That's how we got that general with Kenya. That's how we even got in. Like, remember when I walked up to Marlon?
Yep.
It was my table at Crossroads. I was his waitress, and he had just launched What the Funny, and that was like a way in of like, hey, me and my friends are doing this thing. We're creating a web series, like, and he was all the way tapped in. Like, it was not a like, bitch, I'm trying to have some vegan fucking crab cakes, and here you come asking for something.
He was so generous,
so good. He was like, here, take this email, tell them I gave it to you, and wow,
you could teach a class on how to aggressively but gently shoot your shot
At the same time.
It's like aggressive, but it's finesse. It's very artful finesse.
Yeah, it is.
You do it.
It is.
You know, that's why you're the best at it. You're the one for it. You know, she's the one to send. She's going to get it done.
out and about, she will pull up. She's the pull up queen. I would say a life hack, especially when you're first starting out, is I mean, first of all, it's obviously best when you're in the city where it happens. You need, for those of you living in random cities across the world and the country, like, LA and New York are the most organic spaces to be able to bump into people, to be able to just like, oh, I'm here with so-and-so. Let me strike up a conversation. So you have to be there first, I would say. Because, yes, we are in a Zoom world now, but it's like you can't cold Zoom somebody and hope that they are listening. Oh, my God. Like,
cold emails got me fucking nowhere,
you can't
bro.
cold Zoom out here. You don't even have their email. So you need to be where it happens. I think that's a huge part of it. But then also be, in those first few years, be outside. Like, you need to go to certain events. You need to like be at certain restaurants even. I mean, because that's what people don't know is people be eating. Like, and I'm not saying to be a creep about it. Don't pull up and try to sit next to someone at the table, but just let organic space itself do its thing and be and let yourself be out. And you'd be shocked at the possibilities because people can be very generous and very kind.
Do want to help. Like, just think about like how you feel when you help somebody with something.
Yes.
Like, it enriches you.
Yep.
Of like, wow, I was able to do something for somebody else.
Yep.
And I feel like there was a class on that at NYU. I think it was like a producer class that I took where they talk about you need to lean into that.
Yeah.
Like, what are they getting out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mine, is it's a little bit for the introvert. Because I do think with networking, it's important to know your strengths, right? How you best network, how you best show up and captivate and control and communicate to people. For me, it's like not really being outside, like not really, being at a restaurant. Sometimes it's happenstance because I'm just enjoying myself, having a good time, and somebody is like, at a baby party, I met somebody and they were like, I want to put you in a project, because I just like your energy. But for me, by referral has become a thing that I really, like. Like, if I know somebody knows somebody, I'm like, I really want to like meet that person. Like, would you connect us on an email?
That's powerful.
And then and I'm confident in doing it because I know I'm not gonna mess up your referral because I'm not gonna play with these people's time. I'm not gonna be disrespectful. I'm not, and I'm not gonna
You're
just
ready
be here
for the referral.
Yeah, and I'm not here to be begging with like. I want to link.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which used to be my least favorite phrase ever. I remember I hated that phrase, let's link. But like I do, like I want to be in community with you because your visions feel like they align with mine. So like how can we be in community together? Because I think we have something to offer each other. So
that's nice.
Yeah, I love a bar referral these days.
And I will say another introverted way to network. Y'all know Google's my friend. Like, research. Like, you can literally go on Google and find communities, grants, opportunities, especially as a Black woman or a woman of color, for money, like literally $25,000 film.
Queen.
Yes,
she could teach a class on that.
Literally,
she'll get that money.
I will find the money and get it. And you'd be shocked at how many levels that you can advance by just entering competitions, entering a film festival, which is obviously our calling card.
Yeah, $30 went a long way.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are so many avenues to, like, you know, getting to exposure. So just pick yours.
And with that, we are Unglamorous Truths with the Downtown Girls. I am Amabit Bayene. You can find me at Amabit Bayene.
I'm Crystal Boyd. You can find me at _Chris.
I'm Chandra. You can find me at Chani.
And you can find us at Unglamorous Truths, and you can stream our podcast wherever you find yours.